Howdy guys, and welcome back to another iContrast video. Today I'll be bringing you my coverage of ASR Race 1 around Australia. Hopefully it's going to be a cracking race. Let's jump into it. Subscriber shoutouts will be displayed halfway through the video, so stay tuned for that. If you'd like to get your name shouted out, be sure to subscribe. Today's race will feature around Albert Park Street Circuit. Some of the toughest issues to combat around Albert Park is the fuel load. You obviously want to run the car as light as possible, but running with less fuel means you will have to conserve during the race. Now, as I'm sure you all know, the game being the way it is has a lot of issues online. So unfortunately, I have no footage from my qualifying session during the ASR League race. The footage you are seeing now is me against a few AOR guys along with another person from ASR. As you can see, I've got quite decent pace around Australia, and I'll be looking to bring that into the race later on. But due to the fact that I've been disconnected from the ASR session in qualifying, I was able to connect back just before the race, but because of that, I am now starting on pole position. Now, I do have some pace around here, but definitely not that much, so I really felt kind of guilty being put on pole position through no fault of my own. But you know what, I'm just going to take my wins with my losses, and hopefully it doesn't happen to anybody else later on in the season, especially myself, because I don't want to be disconnected and put into a position outside of where I qualified in the future. Now, during this formation lap, I was actually contemplating whether or not to pull to the side and let everyone through, but I thought that it might be a bit dangerous if I do it on the straight or something like that, because it could cause a pile up and who knows what could happen. So I decided I'm going to actually try and stick this out. I'm not going to try and fight against the people in ultra soft tyres, because one, I shouldn't even be here in the first place on super soft tyres, and two, these guys are obviously faster than me if they've qualified up here at the top. Now, my best sort of time I can set on average around here in qualifying is a 1:22.7. Now, I never got time to set my flying lap because I got disconnected halfway through the session with about 3 minutes to go. But I would have been around the top 5, I'm going to say. I would have been, yeah, surely within the top 5. So I'm not going to lap past everyone, but I'm not going to fight the people in the top 5, because I don't feel like I should be holding back the people who would have qualified ahead of me in the first place. So I feel as though that's fair enough, and I'm going to try and do it without piling up the whole field. So this will be a very weird and interesting start to the race. Surely, I don't know what to do in this situation. I felt it was kind of silly. The game definitely isn't ready for this yet. You can't really take league racing seriously when all this sort of stuff happens, and you know, we're just gonna have to put up with it until it gets patched. So hopefully it doesn't happen in the future until they do get a patch, but there's not much I can do about it starting pole right now. I'm sure that others around me, especially Wimpinator, would be fuming with me stealing his pole position, but he definitely should get credited with the pole position if it gets written down in the records book. But anyways, we're going to crack on with the race now. I'm excited for this one. Start of the new season in Tier 1 this time. Looking to show my worth in this league. I want people to know how quick I am. And away we go with 5 lights out. Wimpinator has made a lot better start than me, and he's getting side by side already. As I said, I'm not going to fight him too much, so I'm just going to hold around the outside into turn 1 and turn 2. And I've lost it a little bit on the curbing there. But anyways, about 4 drivers have gone past me now, and now I've made that 5 drivers, as my teammate Prying Stingray has also gotten past me. But I'm going to hold up the inside. Almost made contact with Ante, and I've ran into my teammate, which is terrible, so I've let him through anyways because I felt really guilty for doing that to him. But yeah, not much you can do when you lock up the brakes and just continue on. So I've just let him through anyways. I don't think he got front wing damage from that. I hope not. But he's got a lot of pace, so I'm just going to let him go. Try and duck into the slipstream and some DRS if I can. I'm going to try and manage my fuel at the start of the race if I can, but I might have to use a bit to hold on to the back of Stingray. But he's made a mistake here, and now Sir LJB is all over the back of me. He's looking to make a move around the outside, but I'm going to hold up the inside. He knows better not to make a move going into this fast S section, as Stingray has managed to get a little bit of a gap on us, and now we have Sir LJB all over the back of us now. and he's going to surely make a move into this right-hander here, and he does. I've left him the room, but he's shoved us out onto the ungrippy stuff, and now we've lost a heap of positions. Now that's exactly what you don't want at a start of a race, going from P5 all the way to P11. Now because of that, I've overheated my tires and I've spun off again, and now I'm down into P13, losing 7 positions, and make that another penalty because I've apparently overtaken someone. My tires are still overheating, and now I've got a 5-second stop-go penalty for absolutely no reason, for apparently gaining a position when I actually didn't. Now I'm really angry about that, so I'm hoping I can get that appealed later on after the race. I'm not sure if they will, because if I serve it during the race, I'm not sure if they're able to take 5 seconds off my race time. But not much we can do. Onwards and upwards. Let's try and see what we can do. I've actually understeered into that left-hander. You see, my controller lately has been having a lot of issues with this game, because a lot of the time when I turn into a corner, it doesn't recognize the input of turning left and right sometimes. So a lot of the time I get understeer, or it just doesn't turn at all, and it's really infuriating, because if you're on a qualifying lap, that can screw up your whole qualifying as well. Luckily it didn't affect me in qualifying, but then again I got disconnected anyways. But anyways, cracking on lap 2 now. Not much to be said, as I am pretty much far away from everyone. Stingray is actually behind me. I think he got front wing damage and made a pit stop. I'm not sure if I triggered the front wing damage. I'll have to find out later on, but I think it might have been from earlier on in the start. I'm not exactly sure. I think he ran into the back of someone, but yeah, that was completely my fault going into the hairpin after the second straight into lap 1. But yeah, hopefully he can forgive me for that, being his teammate, and hopefully we can both get decent results cracking on with the later end of the race. Still not much going on at the moment. Amazingly, we're still in the points somehow into P9 after everybody has made their pit stop with front wing damage or some sort of damage, I'm sure. So that's catapulted us up into P9, and I will be looking to actually try and improve that position, because I will not be satisfied with a P9, and after coming from pole position, like, that just doesn't look good, especially when I have the pace to be in the top 5. But you know, I haven't had that much practice this week. I mean, the week before I had a lot of practice, so I'm kind of rusty, but you know, it's a weird situation, but I'm still sort of decent with my pace, but not as quick as I was last week. But now it's time for our subscriber shout out. I'd like to thank Gaming Pickles for subscribing to the channel. Be sure to subscribe if you'd like the chance to have a shout out, and it will be displayed there on the left side of the screen. Moving on to lap 4 now, as Stylen sets the fastest lap of the race. He came into the pits early, if you don't remember, because he had front wing damage or something like that, because he must have had some troubles right at the start, along with everybody else that came into the pits. We got lucky though and managed to stop it from being on the wall and got no front wing damage, but we did get some extra tyre wear and lost a whole bunch of positions. So we're still looking to make up those positions, and now we do have Sir LJB, who has made his pit stop all over the back of us again. He's on the super soft tyres, and as you can see, we are losing a lot of grip in our tyres now. We're starting to struggle on these super softs. They're not very durable compared to the softs, but we'll see how long we can make them last. Now, being what happened earlier in the race, I'm definitely not going to do Sir LJB any favours, just a bit of a revenge to get back at him during the race, and we'll try and finish ahead of him actually. If he has to make another pit stop, then he's on the exact same strategy as me, and I'll be going to the end on my next pit stop, as I'll be changing to the soft tyres. Now, I'd be happy if I made it last another couple of laps, but these tyres are certainly going off the edge, as Entei has come out behind us on the soft tyres, so that tells me he's definitely going to be trying to make it to the end of the race. If you start on the ultra softs, you'd be looking to try and make them last about 10 laps, as that's their probably maximum durability before you start losing way too much time. And then you'd be looking to get onto the soft tyres and go to the end, as that's what my strategy was going to be. But as I started pole and I got a fresh set of tyres, I thought why not go on the supers and have that optimal strategy on a less degradation sort of approach. But anyways, now we've got a lot of pressure coming from behind us. One on fresh set of tyres being the supers, and one on a fresh set of tyres being the softs. Now, I'm hoping these guys have a little bit of a battle between themselves and probably forget about me and let me run away with it, but it doesn't look that way. Oh, actually, Sir LJB has had a poor exit out of those S's, and Entei has managed to get in front of him somehow. And that's definitely going to hold him up, as Entei is on the slower tyres, and Sir LG must have made the move back on him as he's now in front. But this is brilliant for me as they're squabbling over P6 and P7, and I'll be trying to make my move and getting away from these guys before I have to make my pit stop. In P5 now, I'm surprised I've made up that many positions, but that's just due to people making their pit stops. Like Entei is going to the end right now, and he's already made his pit stop, so he's essentially got a pit stop on me, and I don't think I'll be able to make up that ground towards the end of the race, but we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can definitely make up more positions. 5th place would be certainly nice, but I don't think we're going to get this high up the ladder, but we'll definitely try our best. I think I saw earlier that Sir LJB and Entei were going side by side up the pit straight, but it looked like Sir LJB was on the grass, so I'm not sure how he managed to keep up enough pace to get side by side with him. But Entei is looking pretty quick now, and he's all over the back of us once again, and it's not very good for us, but we're going to be pitting on this lap, hopefully, I think, and that will hopefully get us a big undercut on Sir LJB, who are actually racing. So Entei doing us a whole world of favours, keeping Sir LJB away from us, which is exactly what we need coming into this second half of the race. Another thing I might add about these new 2017 cars is that it's really hard to stay behind the person in front of you. And I've locked up there, and that's not great at all, because it might give Entei an opportunity coming into this pit straight. I might have a poor exit, and now he's got really close to the back of us. He will have DRS. We've put it up into standard, I believe, but I don't think I'm going to be able to fend off this guy much longer, and we're going to make our pit stop. As I was going to make my pit stop last time, but it looks like I've stayed out another lap, because I thought I might save these tyres for the end of the race by spending less time on them, and then that way I can make a better comeback towards the end. And I've almost lost it on the exit curb, as Wimpinator did at the start of the race, but I've managed to save it there, so I had to get out of it. So that's going to give Entei another invitation as to get in front of me, but I'm definitely going to do my best to hold him back, because why not? I need him in between me and Sir LJB, so Sir LJB cannot touch me, and that's going to help me later on in the race, hopefully. But I'm going to make my pit stop definitely on this lap, as my tyres have definitely gone off. As you can see, I'm losing so much traction going through the corners, and Entei is definitely really getting annoyed staying behind me, as it was not in his intention to come out behind me either. I've left him the space there, but he wasn't further enough alongside me to make that move, similar to Sir LJB on lap 1. Oliver Kelly doing a good job in front of us, but we're definitely going to come into the pits now. The tyres have been absolutely spent, and I want to get on those brand new soft tyres and see what the pace is like coming onto that. And it looks like Stingray was actually the one behind Entei in the end there, so Sir LJB must have made a pit stop, or he's lost a lot of time. I think actually Stingray must have overtaken him, and now we're serving our 5-second penalty that we got for no reason, which is really frustrating. So hopefully we can definitely get that taken off later in the race, I'm hoping, as we're going to come out in probably P12 here. I don't think Excalibur is close enough to us to make a threat. But anyways, in P12 now, it can only go upwards from now on, and Oliver Kelly is actually, I'm not sure what's happened to him there, because his car, he must have disconnected. What a shame. He was doing really well with this race, and now it's all come undone for him. Moving on now to lap 14, as Stylen and I think another car, nope, just Stylen in the pits, making his final pit stop of the race. He'll be looking to try and attack me towards the end, maybe, I don't know, it depends if he gets through the traffic but overall not the result he'll be looking for at the end of this race. Coming down the pit straight, going on to lap 17 now, as our teammate has actually jumped us in the pit phase, and now he is a couple of seconds ahead of us, at least 1 second. And now we have Wimpinator on the super soft tyres, who's really quick right behind us, but I don't think he can make it to the end on those tyres. We'll see what happens, but I'm gonna try and keep him behind us for the meantime, as I think, like, just to eliminate any threat later on in the race, because I don't want to lose any more positions from P9. I only want to go up the ladder as much as possible. Skipping to the end of lap 17 now, as Wimpinator has caught right up to the back of us now. He's all over our gearbox, and I've actually had second thoughts about trying to fight for this position, as if he is on another strategy, I do not want to be losing time overall in the race to battling Wimpinator. So I thought, why not try and stick behind him, save some fuel in the DRS and slipstream, and try and stick behind him as much as possible. An interesting race to say so far in the least. We'll be back right after an ad break, taking you to the end of the race of the first round in Season 1. We are back for the final 10 laps of the race, as Sir LJB has made his final pit stop, promoting Stylen right behind us. He now only has a small gap to close on us, and hopefully we can keep him behind for the end of the race. Our teammate Prying Stingray has managed to stay in front of us in P7. He hasn't gotten that far away, but he is on the faster tyres, so we'll see what he can do to the end of the race. If you're still tuned in and you like what you see, be sure to leave a like if you feel the video deserves it, subscribe if you're new, and also leave a comment as to who you think the driver of the day was. I know Stylen's made a pretty good comeback all the way from last in the grid almost, from having that accident on turn 1. Maznat has had a pretty good performance so far, representing last season's Tier 2 drivers. Not sure where he is on the grid at the moment, but I'm sure it's up there in the top 3 at least. So unfortunately I can't be competing with him at the moment due to what happened in lap 1, but definitely a superlative drive from him. James H, I think, might be leading the race. Another good drive from him, from the defending champion. He'll be looking to reclaim that title at the end of the season, but everybody's going to do their best to try and stop him. V-Fingers right on the back of us now. I didn't think he could make it to the end of the race on those ultra soft tyres, but he definitely could, because he certainly did. So I definitely made a mistake not to defend this position not too hard, because I let him go pretty much on this straight. I was actually trying to do a bit of constructors favours and hold him up a bit for Stingray, as he wanted me to hold him behind me for as long as possible, but it wasn't going to happen for very long, as I squeezed him to the inside, but not much else I can do about that. And V-Fingers is on rails, because he's absolutely going up the field, starting from last I believe. But yeah, definitely a good drive for him as well. Stylen, the man right behind us now, that we definitely want to keep behind, because we're fighting him for position. He's on a faster tyre, but we'll see what we can do, trying to keep him behind us for the end of the race. The longer we can keep him behind us, the worse his tyres are going to wear, and the more advantage I'll have on the harder compound tyres. Skipping to the end of lap 22, as Stylen has definitely caught up to the back of us. He'll be looking to make his move as soon as possible, because he wants to get ahead of me. Maybe because he has a penalty, I'm not sure. I haven't conceded a penalty all race, so I've kept it really clean and nice. I've only used up one warning, I believe, so I'll be trying to keep it clean to the end of the race. So LJB has set the fastest lap of the race. He'll be on the faster tyres and fresher tyres for the end of the race, and he'll be looking to try and catch up to the back of me and Stylen if I hold him up for the rest of the race. On to lap 25 now. I've actually put it into lean, and I'm sure that Stylen won't like to hear this fact, but from now on I've been in lean up until the end of the race, but I've only been using standard mix on the straights just to keep him behind me. So I've actually kept it pretty consistent, haven't made one mistake yet, and that's what I'll need for the rest of the race if we're going to keep Stylen, who's a pretty quick driver, behind me while he is on the faster tyre. End of lap 26 now, and Stylen is keeping roughly the same distance behind me. Still haven't made a mistake yet, still haven't conceded a penalty, so I'm looking pretty decent for keeping this 9th position. V-Fingers has managed to overtake Prying Stingray, so that's unfortunate for Stingray, as he's lost a couple of points there. but Styling just can't find a way past me as the dirty air is affecting him pretty badly. I must say in this game it is pretty difficult to overtake unless you have a significant pace advantage. And when the driver in front of you doesn't make mistakes, it's even harder. But we're going to stay on board for the rest of this lap, I think, and see how close Styling gets to mounting a challenge. As you can see, earlier on I was using standard just for the straight, but now I'm back into lean mix. I've actually saved enough fuel to go green now, but I still want to save my fuel in the parts where Styling cannot overtake me. But I've made a mistake and I've locked up and gone wide through that hairpin into the right hander, and now Styling's all over the back of me. He's going to try and take the inside line into the long swooping left hander. I'm going to try and hold it around the outside because this is for position, and I've actually gone around the outside, but now I'm going to actually run Styling a little bit wide there. Still no contact, I believe, from my end of the game, but running side by side now into the corner where I actually got taken out into lap 1. He's made up the dive up the inside, and he's run me slightly wide too there. I guess he's returning the favour because I accidentally ran him wide as well, and now he's gotten in front of me with about 2 laps to go. My fuel is green now, so I'm going to throw absolutely everything at it to get back in front of him. So LJB is caught up to the back of me now on the ultra soft tyres, so he's on the even faster tyres. I'm going to get into the DRS and slipstream of Styling and try and get right onto the back of him and see if I can mount the challenge before the end of the race happens, because that is really soon. I'm running out of opportunities to get back in front of him, and it was the worst timing for Styling to get in front of him because now I don't have much time to get back in front of him, and now he's defending pretty hard into turn 3, which is the right hander hairpin, and now he's ran a bit wide on the curb there. He's all over the place. I'm putting his maximum pressure on him, and he'll be really slow on those worn super soft tyres. It's maximum attack from here on in while trying to conserve fuel as I'm on lean again. Didn't take long to get back into the red of my fuel mix. And who's that ahead? I think it's Stingray ahead of both me and Styling. And it looks like he's going slow. He might have front wing damage or something, but he's definitely going slower through the corners as me and Styling make a lot of ground on him just through that corner alone. I hope Stingray is managing to hold up Styling for me to get through, but I don't think he has any say in the matter because he definitely does have front wing damage as he goes wide through those S's. Lets me and Styling through. Not much he could have done there. Styling is starting to get away there. He's built a bit of a gap. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up to him now because he's definitely getting away. But I'm definitely going to keep on putting as much pressure on him as possible because he has the worn tyres compared to me and points me in everything in this championship. Styling has ran wide into the second to last corner, and he has gifted me the position of P8, make it up 2 positions in 1 sector. Now it's just up to me to hold on for the last lap of the race. Coming across the line now, so LJB is on the faster tyre, but I think he's too far behind to mount a challenge on me, and it looks like I'm going to be able to run away with my 8th position of this difficult and weird exciting race around Albert Park, Australia. The game is certainly not ready for league racing yet, but it's definitely been an interesting one. I definitely think I could have placed a bit higher than 8th position, especially with that 5-second stop-go penalty. We'll see where we finish in comparison to V-Fingers, and if V-Fingers finishes less than 5 seconds ahead of us, then that's a real shame because I would have finished ahead of him by rights if I got 5 seconds taken off my finish time. As James has won the race, congratulations to him. Another race win to add to his record books in ASR League 1. Defending champion is doing everything right so far to win another championship. It looks like we've got 1 sector to go before we claim 8th position, unless we manage to get our 5-second stop-go penalty appealed. That's only if V-Fingers finishes within 5 seconds ahead of us, but it looks like our tyres weren't that bad at all coming to the end of the race as I've made the car set up, definitely not for qualifying but for tyre conservation and overall race pace. 8th position, not the position I wanted to finish in, but it's the position I'll take, finishing the Australian Grand Prix.
They're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So here we have the race results, and as you can see, not many people didn't actually get a penalty. I didn't get a penalty, along with, it looks like, James, Ente, the Hairy Tomato, and Danny Rick. But I think everybody else managed to get a penalty of some sort. I mean, I served my penalty that I didn't actually deserve in the first place, but everybody else managed to get a penalty, I think. And if I had those 5 seconds taken off, then I would have finished ahead of B-Fingers. So it's a real shame, but you know, not much I can do. I will appeal it, but not much else I can do. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next race. Sorry about the slow uploads. I've been really busy with uni lately, and I'll catch you all in the next one.